Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today on this lovely Friday. Today we'll be finishing up our study of the remaining kings and how it applies to Jesus' lineage. In the concluding slides of last week's lesson, we talked about Solomon's redemption by repentance. However, after King Solomon's reign, the kingdom of Israel, once strong and united, is divided by a civil war into the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. The study of these rulers and kingdoms would take us through the end of the whole year, so I will do my best to sum it up briefly. If you decide to study this on your own, you will discover that there are a great deal of bad kings and hardly any good ones, and only then they're in the south. So as I mentioned, after Solomon, 10 of the 12 tribes of Israel unified and had a bad king after bad king. About 200 years later, the kingdom of Assyria comes in and wipes out the northern kingdom of Israel. It is so total and complete that these tribes are known as the lost tribes of Israel, as they are never heard from again. On the other hand, the southern kingdom of Judah was ruled by Solomon's rightful heir and had a diverse mix of good, bad, and neutral kings. Judah exists for about 345 years before the Babylonian Empire comes in and conquers Jerusalem and takes its people captive. This is where we can trace Jesus' lineage back, as they were not destroyed, but merely taken captive. It is here where the line of earthly kings end, and where our study on the prophets will pick up next week. So, the million-dollar question is, what does any of this have to do with Jesus? As I mentioned with youth group on Wednesday night, what I think we should do when studying the Bible is study not just the characters, but the God they serve or choose not to. From Genesis to the patriarchs to King David, God made promises about an everlasting kingdom. Even though the earthly kings were conquered, the king was still on his throne. And also, it's important to realize God's promises don't depend on our circumstances, whether to be foiled or proven true, but they are as sovereign as the God who made them. They will come to pass, and nothing, not empires, nor people, nor sin, can hinder him in what he wants to accomplish. It's here that leads us to our verse of the day, which comes from 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 3. But the Lord is faithful, and he will establish and guard you against the evil one. So let's have that be our comfort, that God is faithful even when we are not. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from the patriarchs and kings, and it is still just as true then as it is today. Thank you all for listening today. I hope you learned something new. Next week, we'll be studying the prophets and how they point to the birth of Jesus. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day, a wonderful weekend, and God bless you all.